biggest turnoff in dating is when a guy literally just replies to your Instagram story or likes it, and then it's like, hey, do you want to like come over?
Let's be so for real. We all know what happened here. She probably gave it up too easily, one too many times.
But until he can provide a lavish lifestyle, you didn't think he was worth much of anything.
Priority number one for a lot of men is to consider our purpose, our peace, and our pockets before prioritizing you.
My ex will probably never make less than $1 million every year, and I'm starting over.
Welcome back to More to Life. Before I get into this video, ask that you like, comment, subscribe. Also, smash that notification bell just to be sure you get on my videos as soon as I release them. Let's get right into this.
The reason why I haven't really dated in the last 6 months is because I have been so focused on myself that if someone were to come into my world, they would need to be a guy who creates a multi-step plan for a date, or just in general is super thoughtful, because I'm super thoughtful about myself and I'm super intentional about myself. Biggest turnoff in dating is when a guy literally just replies to your Instagram story or likes it, and then it's like, hey, do you want to like come over? The level of dating nowadays has gotten just so bland. Like, what happened to the days where people are writing handwritten notes as if their life were depending on it? Wow.
The sense of entitlement is so crazy. Like, no man owes you a multi-step plan without ever having knowing you. Here's your multi-step plan. He texts you, he slides into your DMs, you chat back and forth. You might even go on a couple dates, and within those couple dates, you're already sleeping with him, and then you end up regretting it, which is why you're posting dumb videos like this. And when men used to write love letters, it used to mean something. Now men could write love letters, give flowers, plan all of the dates, and still over. What happened to dating? What do you mean? Women made it so socially acceptable that it was cool not to care, and that it was cool to brag about having rosters. Let's be so for real. We all know what happened here. She probably gave it up too easily, one too many times, to the guy that like just slid into her DMs, and now she's all salty about it.
Most likely.
So the next guy has to then prove his worth and prove his value by having a multi-step plan, even though the dude before didn't have to do to get any. And that's just for starters. A multi-level plan. This is like corporate talk, but what do you mean? That he hits you up in your DMs, that he texts you good morning, all of the things that men are already doing, and it's not good enough? This is the type of chick that will expect like a trip to Bora Bora for her birthday, but when it's your birthday, she's gonna get you a pair of socks. So basically, the new guy gets to pay for the last guy's mistakes and for her poor decision making in the past. And honestly, all this is going to do for the men is weed out the ones that are just using you for a multi-step plan, because we all know that women, when they like a man, will sit there and literally watch football or play Xbox or whatever your hobbies are in silence just to be in your presence. And not for nothing, where is her multi-step plan to keep him? Where is her putting in all of the effort? Where is she writing him love letters? Where is there any sense of reciprocation, or is it just all on the men to continuously give all of this effort because she's entitled and feels like he owes it to her? For the record, any person that's actually working on themselves doesn't need to come online and let the world know that they've been working on themselves if it's actually valid and legit. Change happens in silence, and there's no need for bragging. Okay, bye.
That's what men are saying now. We ask her all the time, what do you bring to the table? And I'm sure she will say, I bring my kids, I bring my clothes. No, that's not bringing anything. What can you do for a man? As she said, what can you reciprocate? What can you show me that I'm showing you? Why am I developing a multi-step plan when the last guy just smashed it? It doesn't make sense. Guys are not paying for another guy's mistake. A guy's not going to come in and play a cleanup man either. No cleanup crews anymore. Men are done with it. Think about it. Men have wasted their time with women like you who say, I need this, this, and this, and that, because you're hitting the wall fast. That's where you're wanting that now. When you've already racked up so many amount of bodies. it's probably got uncountable now. Seriously. And what man could build with you when you've done that? No one.
Everybody wanted to know where the good men are, but let me just explain to you what's stopping these good men from getting with you. This idea that a man should come along and take you as you are. He should accept you for who you are, how you feel, how you think, what you do, and he shouldn't question that. He should embrace it, right? That's what you want. But that man wasn't good enough to be with you, to get with you, until he did all the work. He had to become this amazing provider, which means he needed to put in extra work and effort towards his career, maybe his education. Maybe he had to really put in the work for a grind, whatever he was doing. But until he can provide a lavish lifestyle, you didn't think he was worth much to anything.
Real talk.
You want to make sure that you have a man who's making solid, sound decisions. You want him to stay far away from all these girls in these streets where he can get somebody pregnant and have all these children out of wedlock, because you want to be the woman who comes along for this perfect man, right? But you don't want to do any work. Do you know why your grandmothers back in the day were able to get these men when they were young? That's because they spent their entire life being raised and taught how to be a good woman, how to make sound decisions, what men cared about. See, we frown upon that now. You call it misogynistic. But no matter what name you put on these things, it's not going to change that you can't control what a man is going to find attractive and what a man is going to pursue. You just can't. So you have two choices. Get on board and start putting in the work now, or be okay being single. The choice is always yours.
A lot of you will have to be okay with being single. Listen, you've gone too far. You've gone too far, too long, being the way you want for the longest time. A line has been drawn. You're either going to get on one side or the other. Staying single forever, right? Because you see a lot of women, they're getting divorced, and they did right. First, they were with a man for 11 years, 10 years, 8 years, divorced them, took half. Now that, why can't I find somebody? You had somebody. Why did you break up with him? Didn't you divorce him? And now you're saying, oh, things are in shambles. My life is living wrecked. That's your other half. But there's no other half anymore. Now it's what can be done for me. That's all you see. Every video. You saw in a second video, the woman stating why guys don't chase. The first woman stating why we don't chase. It's a simple answer. Change or you be alone. That's it.
Why are men not as interested or as obsessed with us anymore? Obsessed is crazy word. I get this question a lot, and I wouldn't say that men have stopped being interested. What I think is we've had our perspective and our priorities reset. In the past, men chasing behind women they probably couldn't even maintain was a badge of honor. The applied pressure culture was a real thing. We were told our identity was wrapped up in who we were able to conquer. That's how it used to be. And I believe women by majority standardized that as this is what it should be. Whereas now, priority number one for a lot of men is to consider our purpose, our peace, and our pockets before prioritizing you. It's almost like that viral video where that man is sitting down eating and it's like single man meal is $16 and a peaceful dinner. Then it says relationship meal is like $85 and trying my best to avoid an argument. There's humor in that, but there's also some honesty. And I think a side effect of men prioritizing those things is that by doing so, we've unconsciously unlocked the clarity that says I still want and desire a woman, but if she comes in and compromises my peace, my purpose, or my pockets, then I don't even want to waste my time. And I don't think women know how to handle that disillusion. But it's not because men aren't interested. It's just that we're no longer more interested in you than we are our purpose, peace, and our pockets. If you were to enter his life right now and contribute to those things, he's not going anywhere. But if you compromise any of those things, he'll peep it from a mile away and he will not be interested.
No, you already said, if you don't compromise those things, we're looking for somebody to add on, right? If you can't come into my life and figure where you can fit in and make it to where we're both comfortable, meaning, okay, you want to come in my life and you want me to pay everything for you. No, it doesn't work that way. You have to set it up, or I have to set it up, and you have to help so I can make a clear avenue for us both, right? And that takes building with a man. A lot of you are way past that stage. You're too old, outdated. Can't get a young man, of course. But I'm talking to the ones that are young right now who may come across this video. Listen now before it's too late, because it's coming to a time. Actually, we're at that time now, but it's still, you still have a smidget of a chance because you didn't hit the wall yet. I'm warning, before you hit that wall, get your act together, because when you hit the wall, it's going to be so much harder. It is. Because most of the older guys that are around my age are looking for a woman, not dealing with old Sallies and, old Sallies and sour Becky's. They want the young ones. Or they may go over to Philippines and get a young Anime or a young Sally Mae or Sally Joe, because that's Filipino name, and they'll be happy. And guess what she'll do? She'll figure out different ways she can add on, different ways she can help out the business or whatever it is she's doing. But say if it's not even helping the business, maybe just be peaceful. And that's what I'm gonna leave it.
Most women will say,
None of my friends are banging
unattractive.
trash.
I think it's
Women
something
say, I find most men unattractive.
Yeah.
I think it's something like 95% of the women all choose the 1% of the men.
Well, and let's
pick
just
the hyper.
too, because it's like, are you really gonna sit here and tell me that you guys are messing around with the dudes who are like 5s or 6s? Of course you're not.
I should have just stayed. It wasn't that bad. And she's like, Jenna, what are you talking about? Like, literally. And then I just keep thinking, I'm like, but I had a huge house and all my bills were paid for, and I never had to think how they were going to get paid. My grass was cut, well, not the last year of separation. But you know what I mean? All the basic things that keep the image up. And I gave up my entire image that I was trained to have for my family for 23 years. Like, I was the stay-at-home mom, and I made the image of we were the perfect family. I have beautiful children. They were dressed right. They, did top sports like cheer and football and went to all that stuff. And I was, the cheer mom and, did all that stuff and then did photography on the side just to make money, to make ends meet while he built his career up. And I stayed long enough to just give it all up when it was right there. And I'm so mad at myself because I'm not this way. I don't think this way. But it is hard to be a single female when you're 47, when your kids are out. It's not like I have little kids. I always say, if I had little kids, this would be not even a question, because that instinct comes in. My kids, I got little kids. I got to get them up for school. I got to get them to here. I got to get them to there. I got to go to work. I got to do that. I don't have that. I'm literally at home. The worst time of my day is after the gym at night when the house is quiet and silent and I just am in my thoughts. And it's so hard. Like, I'm my own boss. If I don't go to work, if I get sick, nothing happens. And my general photography would just crumble. And I love what I do. I have a passion for it. I love it. But I'm in my head. Like, I'm literally in my head. And I'm booking shoots and I'm doing amazing. I'm so excited. But every time I think future and long run, I freak out because my future was right there. Like, it was solidified. Like, I was comfortable for the rest of my life. Maybe not mentally in my relationship, but financially, I was fine. And I gave it all up to be happy. Maybe I should have stayed. It was stable in every other area, but that, is my mental health really that important? And then my friends remind me, they're like, yes, you're just in that crazy in-between stage. And I'm trying to work through it. I'm trying to work through the process. But it's terrifying. It's terrifying to start over at 47. But it's hard to know you gave away. My ex will probably never make less than $1 million every year. And I'm starting over.
Whose fault is that?
And basically as if I'm a 20-year-old again.
You know what she's facing? Because at the end, she said it. My ex makes $1 million a year. She was living life on Easy Street. And yes, she probably received a sizable, very large amount of money when she left him, but it's still not secure. Like having it, he's built himself for years. She's watched him build himself for years. She knows it will continue to come because also I'm sure he has investments and a lot of other things, which I hope he protected in a divorce. But yeah, she feels it. It's regret she's feeling, and it's not gonna go away. You can't feel regret that. Let me tell you, she was living the dream life. All of these women say she was there. She was at the final stage. She had the $1 million husband, baller. When you want to say shower with gifts, he could have provided her with anything she needed, and she threw it all away. Maybe because he was a little strict. Oh, and you heard of friends. See, friends will keep you single. Oh, well, your sanity is better. Not really. She said it. Not really. I believe you. I'm happy you're admitting this on the internet for men to see, different women to see, and because they need to see it. And yeah.
Why would I help a man get on his feet if there are men who are already standing up?
Mira, because they're standing up next to the woman that helped him get on his feet. You know, there's nothing wrong with finding a man who's established. I just think that there's nothing wrong either with finding a man who's determined. Your soulmate's your teammate.
She said it. Your soulmate is your teammate. It reminds me of my wife, my soulmate. She truly is. Your soulmate's your teammate. Your soulmate doesn't want to see you down. They will do anything to make it happen. And you find your soulmate through building. But what do they claim? Oh, I'm not dealing with the Build-A-Bear. That's for kids. That's what they say, right? That's for young girls. No, it's for middle-aged women as well. Yes. You may get a man that's 35 and you may be 35. He's down with you. There's many of you ladies out there that leave these men and they get with someone making more. It's wild. It's one of those things. There's no expiration on success. I swear there is. Everybody knows that, but everybody knows, all the men out there know that. It seems like the women don't know that, and that is not good. And that's what guys have realized. Yeah, that man. You're lucky. I say you're lucky. You got a man that's willing to do what most men won't do nowadays. Don't be wrong. You find some men that'll do it, that'll take care of a kid that's not theirs. But most men just won't. It just doesn't make sense financially. It makes sense with love. Of course, you're going to show love. He's lucky, though, because you probably created an environment for him where if he talks to your daughter, I hope you did, or he disciplines her, you're not, down his neck. But she's young too. So I don't see why you would be down his neck. Wouldn't make sense. But yeah, maybe you don't create that kind of environment, because I know where I'm from. You really, really can't do that in most cases. Look what it says. Look at these comments. It says, this will not be me. Y'all stay safe, though. May this kind of woman never find me. Amen. A father isn't the man who plants the seed, but the man who waters it and tends to it. My stepdad is the only father I've ever known. I've known that as well. But at the time when my father do it, probably when hers did as well, it was a different time. It was around, 80s, 90s, 70s. That's a lot different. That's a whole different time. This won't be me, in Jesus' name, amen. Exactly. And it won't be a lot of y'all either, I'm sure.
I want to speak to the women out there. You tell me if you think this is fair. I'm 40 years old. I married this woman when I was 33. After only knowing her 7 months. And no, I ain't getting no prenup or none of that. But she didn't have nothing. Me, I had a $1.5 million house in Hoover, Alabama. Me, I had the Mercedes in the driveway. I went to law school. I was the one up studying all.
I gotta stop right there because I saw this before, and I gotta say this, brother. You're a lawyer. Get that prenup. This is proof to men. Look at it. 4 years to build, 7 years together, and now she wants half. You darn right. She wants half. This would have happened, and next year she probably couldn't get that half because right now they're bringing in no divorce. If it was 2025, you may have been lucky, but she got you, and you should have been thinking. And he's a grown man too. Looks like he's around. If it's 40 years to build, he has to be around the age of maybe 50. All that work you put in. This is what happens. This is a lesson to men.
Don't get me wrong, I love being single and I love living alone. It's great, it's fantastic, but it's expensive. I just spent $600 on brakes on my car, just on the front part of the car, because I couldn't afford all 4 brakes and axles and rotors and whatever. And then now I just paid my car payment, which is $500, so I just blew $1,100 in like 3 hours, and it wasn't even like fun, you know? Sorry, it's just so overwhelming. Like, you work and 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 you work, and it's just to pay off like your basic necessities.
You're the strong, independent woman that.
And you can't, like, in this city that I live in, public transport, please. If I were to do public transport, it's like asking to get raped, and I really shouldn't be crying because now I have to go to another work event, and now I'm going to be all puffy. I'm just... Living is so expensive. Just keeping yourself alive and floating is so expensive. And what I was saying before I was rudely interrupted is if I were to take public transport here, especially for my job requires a car. I have to have a bunch of shit to lug with me for work. And I can't do that with public transport. I'm venting. Inflation sucks. Just living in America sucks. Living alone sucks. It's great, but it sucks. Because you have to front all the expenses by yourself. I need a husband just so that I can live. So we can split the bills.
Yeah, they're going through it. But you see here, it's not fun to be a single woman. It's hard. And continuously you see woman after woman going through it. And it's not sad, actually. Because you asked for this. You fought for this. Not you yourself. Maybe you. Maybe your cousin or aunt. Because she's a little up there. But this is what you get.
Yeah. I'm grown. I'm old enough now. I feel like I got the right to do that. So I just wanted to get a test and see what is my daddy.
And so you called him?
Yeah, I called him. He was like, he thought I was his son. So that means that...
We don't see nothing funny.
Nah.
But see, I told you that was your dad. First of all, that is your dad. I don't know what's going on.
She's flipping to her son. I might say a well-balanced young man. Doesn't he sound like a man when he's talking? You hearing his voice, his character? He's like, the way he's laughing, he's cool. He must have been around his uncles or somebody that's older. Or he's been around the right people. I could tell he developed character. Don't seem like he got it from her. No accountability at all.
What's going on? I don't know who you took the test with and what you had going on, but that's your daddy.
Yeah. It sounds good, but look, I'm just saying.
It sounds good.
Nah, that's the result. The result say what it say now. I can't lie. I can't fake no results. Now, if you had something going on, then the man that was my daddy.
First of all, you didn't have no business going behind my back. That's what you didn't have no business doing.
Yeah, but I just felt like I ain't had no bond with him like that. Like I knew something was off. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I wanted to go get my results and see what's going on.
Yeah, the boy knew. He knew he wasn't the father. He seen it in the facial features and messed up.
I think it's funny how a lot of women will say that men lie and men are pieces of shit, but why is it that 26.9% of all women have lied about paternity? Meaning they've actually pinned a child on a father that isn't theirs. And most of them have admitted doing this because they pick the more suitable father out of the men that they've been cheating with. Additionally, another study was done in the UK that 1 in 10 women don't know who the biological father is and they just take a guess. These men actually grow bonds with their children and raise them and fall in love with them, and then they ultimately find out that the child is not theirs. How sick do you have to be to do that to a man, but also to do that to your own child? It's absolutely diabolical. And the worst part about it is there's little to no consequences to the women that do this. In fact, they might get a slap on the wrist or have to pay a fine, and that's only if the father wants to sue, and most of the men don't go after her or don't do anything because they don't have the financial means to fight it in court. I mean, do what you will with this information. Okay, bye.
Yeah, men are not trying to fight it. Men just, for the most part. Nowadays, I think guys are trying to get their money back. But yeah, it's wild that this is still being done, but it is, and I'm happy that the kid was mature about it, but honest. He brought it straight to her, and he needed to do that. He needed to hold her accountable. All those years, you didn't tell me if you didn't think this was my father? I'm wondering why I'm not bonding with this man. Probably because he most likely knows that I'm not his son. He's looked at me before and kept paying child support knowing I'm not the son. That's wild. I think that's what happened in that situation. And it's happening in a lot of situations. A lot of guys are saying, you know what? At least I got a kid. I'll keep paying. And face jail time because of it. Some of them can't pay, but rather go to jail and claim a kid that's not theirs. I know most wouldn't, but a lot of guys do. But yeah, guys, thank y'all for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. See you next video.